Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 9. Today we're going to be talking about the series finale. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DCTV videos later this year. Alright, so in today's video we're going to be talking about the series finale of Season 9 of The Flash. We're going to be talking about something that I heard recently from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Paigey, whilst we were doing a live stream on my channel. And I felt like I had to address it in a video because I think it has some big implications in regards to the series finale and how The Flash rounds out. But before we get to that, which is obviously the main topic of the video, I want to address some of what Eric Wallace was saying in his interview with the Flash podcast. You can check out the interview with Eric Wallace via the YouTube link in the description below to DCTV podcasts, which is affiliated with the Flash podcast. And this is all on topic, guys, so I'm saying this all for a reason. But Eric Wallace confirmed that the episode that Nicole Maine shows up as Nia now, obviously she's a Supergirl character, we haven't seen her since the end of Supergirl. She's appeared in DC Comics thanks to Nicole Maine's working very hard behind the scenes as a writer. And she's appeared also in Fortnite, so she's made a big splash and a big imprint on the world since Supergirl ended, but she's going to be returning to this season. It was announced a couple of months ago that Nicole Maines would be back on The Flash, actually having a story with Iris this time, which is interesting. So it makes you think it's going to be a more journalistic story, so more Nia than Dreamer. However, you know they're going to have Dreamer action in this episode, so I'm looking forward to seeing the Flash and Dreamer team up together. But I think with the reference of Catco in the season premiere, it's likely that because Nia works for Catco, she's going to come over maybe to CC Citizen Media, meet Iris, and they somehow both work on a case together, which is of interest to both of their companies. But Eric Wallace himself just confirmed on the Flash podcast that she would be appearing in an interlude episode, so that's going to be either episode 6, 7 or 8. I'm unsure if there's 2 interlude episodes or 3 interlude episodes this year, but one of those episodes 100% is going to be the Supergirl crossover where Nia shows up. So that's one thing that Eric Wallace confirmed on the interview. Plus he also went on to talk about Cobalt Blue, as the hosts of the Flash podcast, Andy and Tatiana, asked about the blue crystal that we saw at the end of last season, and Eric Wallace said he can neither confirm nor deny if Cobalt Blue is showing up, but he did say the blue crystal will show up again and it's up to no good. And it won't appear straight away. He teased that it's going to be towards the end of the season that we see the blue crystal reappear for the first time, and it's going to test Barry and Iris in a huge way emotionally, unlike they've ever been tested before. So it's pretty clear at this point Cobalt Blue is going to show up and he's got something to do with that crystal, and it's probably Eddie Thawne. And that's the link as to why it's so emotional with Barry and Iris and why it's such a test, because obviously Iris has a very strong past relationship with Eddie considering they were together, and it makes you question, is this actually Eddie from season 1 that was sent up into the singularity and somehow he survived and he's back and he wants vengeance, he's returned, maybe looking for Iris, and he sees Barry is living happily with Iris and he goes full Cobalt Blue, full Thawne, and that's where we get the time travel aspect of the story, because we've seen in behind the scenes photos that both Eddie and Barry are time traveling back in time, so I think that's what's going on. So that was what Eric Wallace's teaser was that I wanted to break down. This is from the Flash podcast, again, link in the description below. There is plenty more that they talked about in the podcast, but I thought I would just bring up 1 or 2 points, but especially the Supergirl point, because our main topic, which we'll move on to right now, links to that. So apparently behind the scenes right now they are scheduling the series finale of The Flash. They have filmed episode 10, they filmed episode 11, I believe they're on episode 12 right now. I could be wrong about that, but we know for certain that the series finale is going to be episode 13 of season 9. But apparently behind the scenes there is struggles trying to organize the schedule. Now, the problem is not the core regular cast, because they are always around and they're on call 5 days a week, anytime that they want them, obviously within reasonable bounds. But the likes of Grant Gustin, Candice Patton, Danielle Panabaker, they're all in Vancouver, and the show sets their schedule. They don't say, yes, I can make it, no, I can't make that day. They're on call and have to come for whenever they are called. So it's actually the people who aren't series regulars that are causing the problem, if you think about it logically. And if there is such a problem behind the scenes in terms of organizing the episode, it makes you think, how many people are they trying to bring in? This is going to be huge as far as I can tell, because normally there's not too much in terms of scheduling. Like if they want to bring 1, maybe 2 guest stars into the episode, that's going to be fine. I'm sure they can work around it and get like a couple of days here and there where those specific people could show up in Vancouver. But it's when you start to get to 3, 4, 5 people, that's when it gets complicated, especially if those people are working on shows right now or whatever they are doing. The simple fact is, if they are busy, that's going to be very tough. And so who do we have that is working on other content right now that could potentially be a character that they would want to bring back? And Eric Wallace this season in interviews has heavily emphasized that he wants to make the season as nostalgic as possible, bring back a lot of past storylines and wrap them up properly, because this is the end of the show. And so with that, there's going to be plenty of old faces that are going to show up. So probably like number 1 or 2 on everyone's list is to see Cisco back. Now, what is Carlos Valdez doing right now? He's working in New York. I believe he has his own TV show. And so with that, he's clearly not too far from Vancouver, so they could work that out in terms of travel, because Vancouver to New York isn't too long. But the main problem is scheduling. Like, he's busy. So if they are having scheduling problems right now, you can assume maybe he's in the mix. And that just makes complete sense, because it would be stupid if Cisco did not show up in the series finale, because that would leave one of the biggest characters of the Flash's past hanging, and they've made it clear they want to wrap up everything, and so they need to bring Cisco back. So that's one of the problems that they could be having right now. Another problem could be getting Jordan Fisher back as Bart Allen. Now, this is another huge character. I mean, even this season we're seeing Jessica Parker Kennedy return as Nora, and in the last season we saw plenty of them together, and Bart has been a huge character, so his connection to Barry and Iris and Nora is just too big for them to gloss over. If they ended the show just like without Cisco, it would be absolutely silly to not attempt to bring Bart back. So I believe he could be part of those problems, because he's working on a Broadway show right now, as far as I know. And as you guys know from the past with Melissa working on Broadway whilst shooting Supergirl, they had to work around it. It was nearly impossible because Broadway has such a big schedule. I mean, they literally only have the weekends. They work like 4 or 5 days a week. They do 2 performances a day. They are knackered. They don't have time to go up to Vancouver on the weekend and film like a whole episode. So I believe if Bart Allen does show up, if they figure out how they can work around Jordan's schedule, I don't believe he's going to be in much of that episode. And that's the fact that he's going to be so busy. He's probably only going to be able to come around to Vancouver for like 2 days, film like the bare minimum just to get in the scenes that they need to get in before the show ends. And that's going to be about it. So I wouldn't expect lots in regards to Bart Allen in the series finale. However, let's talk about one very exciting character that, as you guys know, I am a huge fan of. And this was brought up to me by Paigey. I wasn't thinking of this first. I was thinking of Cisco, I was thinking of Bart, you know, those Flash characters. But who else is a major character in the Arrowverse that could return and could be part of those scheduling issues? Well, that is Melissa Benoist as Supergirl. So right now, Melissa is in New York. That's where she's currently living. And she's been filming the Greg Berlanti HBO Max show, The Girls on the Bus, for the last couple of months. And so she is nearing the end of their first season of filming. So potentially, if they work out the schedules, they could get Melissa up to Vancouver for a couple of days to film for the Flash's season finale. And this is not even me trying to over theorize. I think it's actually a strong chance that she does show up. And that's also considering that the show she's working on right now, even if they don't finish filming before The Flash starts filming its final episode. The show she's on is a Greg Berlanti show, and so is The Flash, so they could easily work out the scheduling in terms of that. They could stop filming for like 2 days in New York, have like a long weekend, and then have Melissa back on the show. Plus there's also a lot of characters on that show. She's not necessarily the main character, but she is part of the main ensemble of the girls on the bus. So I think it's pretty clear that maybe some of those scheduling problems they're having with trying to organize, oh, what dates are we going to film The Flash's series finale, could have something to do with Melissa. And so the 3 people that I've mentioned are all in New York, and like I said, that's not too far from Vancouver. And you have to remember, like, even when they were filming Supergirl, she would sometimes fly on the weekends back to LA. I know LA to Vancouver is actually shorter than New York to Vancouver, because New York to Vancouver is roughly 6 hours and LA to Vancouver is 3 hours. That's obviously because they are both on the West Coast, obviously one in Canada, one in America, and New York's on the complete other coast. So it's just like double the time, but 6 hours isn't too much of a bad flight, and they can definitely make the most out of like a couple of days up in Vancouver. So those are the 3 people that I thought about in terms of the scheduling issues as of right now. Obviously there's a chance that we could get Steven back again. I'm talking about Stephen Amell, of course. He is going to be appearing in episode 9 of season 9, which will be a big crossover type episode. We have Kid Flash returning, John Diggle, Bloodwork, and quite a few other people. So that's obviously a huge episode. But also the series finale is a huge episode, so maybe some of that scheduling issues could have something to do with bringing back Steven. I don't know what he's currently doing right now and if he's filming Heels or not. That's his show over on Starz. But it would be completely logical if Eric Wallace wanted to try and get him back. So to round up my thoughts on all of this, although it's not good for the people behind The Flash, obviously they're trying to organize their filming schedule, I think for us fans this is a good sign that things are being so tricky to organize, because that indicates that outside people are going to be coming in and they're trying to organize the schedule around that. So for now we can definitely assume there's going to be multiple returning faces from the past, and that could include Supergirl, Green Arrow, or Flash related characters like Bart Allen and Cisco. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. Really helps out the channel if you do that. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. We are uploading daily right now, and obviously The Flash is on, so go check out my latest reviews. And also we are streaming every Wednesday before The Flash premieres its new episodes. Please join me every Wednesday at 9 PM UK time, which is 4 PM Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast. Translate that to wherever you guys are from, and I'll see you guys there. So for now, click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.